The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 16th day of May, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. Sorry about that. As I was saying, it is Thursday, the 16th day of May, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. All right. Yeah, I was testing you all. I was just testing you all. I was seeing if you would rather the show without listening to me without hearing me, right? But then that probably wouldn't have worked because you'd rather listen to me than see me. Yeah, I was once told, like they told Al Roker, that I have the perfect face for radio. So I totally get it. Don't worry. I totally get it. Anyway, how's everyone feeling this Thursday? Awesome Thursday, Jamel, says Suzanne Ingham. She says, yes, I can hear you. Yes, we are happy, Suzanne. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How's everyone feeling this? One more day until Sherry's favorite day of the week, Friday. What a week it has been. Folks, before we get into it, well, you know what? No, I'm going to tell you after, because Maya taught me how to do this thing that I don't know if she remembers that she taught me how to do on social media. So I'm going to find some stuff every now and then and share it with you. But I found something very strange on social media that I'm going to share with you a bit later on in the show. All right. So stick with us about that. All right. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Major Duncan Simons from the Royal Bermuda Regiment on. We're going to help the regiment recruit some good soldiers, some good Bermudian soldiers. And as you know, this has been a challenge amongst many of our, services. The fire service, the Bermuda Police Service have had challenges with recruitment, but we're going to have that conversation with Major Duncan Simons today. So let's get your questions ready and prepare to engage and provide some solutions for them. The Daily Players are named that place. As you can see, I have no co-host today. So someone will be lucky enough, I hope, to be eligible to win a little prize. And I don't know. Let me see. Don't have a question yet, but there's 6 to choose from. So I'll give you the choice of letting me choose A through F. All right, A through F. Do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump right into it, folks. Let's jump right into it. Let's first off, let's give a to all the Bermuda College graduates. I think it's 98 students that will be receiving their diplomas and certificates today at the Bermuda College. So congratulations to all of the students at Bermuda College, the faculty and staff, for another year of great work. And I believe the guest speakers, Mr. Hollis, TikTok star. So folks, let's give them a big round of applause and wish them the best. But that leads us to today's question. And this, to me, is a very community-related question, as most of them are. But what advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today? Like, what advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today? And before I answer that, I'm going to say, what advice would I have wanted to receive when I graduated with my undergrad degree? What advice? And I think if I were to give myself advice to my, oh, that was a good, well, I don't want to age myself, but let's just say Maya probably wasn't in primary school. But anyway, no, she was still in primary school when I graduated my undergrad. Wow. I'm mature. I'm mature. But if I had to give my own self advice graduating undergrad, I would probably say learn, learn, and learn. Never stop learning. Learning doesn't stop with this piece of paper. That's what I would tell myself. So, what advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today? Like, what would you give? What advice would you give yourself? What advice would you give yourself? What advice would you give yourself if you were graduating today? So, what advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today? What would you tell them to prepare for? What do you think would be a rude awakening to them, that something that they may not have learned or been told about in college? What is something that you can think of that you would say, you know what? Hey, prepare for this. And not to be scary. Let me be clear. Advice doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be something to say, oh, it's going to be crazy out here, or this is the real world. Like, because those are some of the things that really turn me off. You know, you come out of college and then people start throwing in your face, oh, but you have no experience and this and that. They belittle your academia. We're not trying to do that with students today. We don't want to belittle their academia. We don't want to make them feel less than. What we're trying to do is build them up, right? So what advice would you give to college graduates about entering the workforce today? What would you say? What would you say to inspire them, to motivate them, to make them want to, get in the workforce and make a difference, to improve not just, their own lives, to be something special and be able to provide for themselves, but to also improve their community and their country and their families and their, what would you say to them? Like, what were you told when you left college, when you graduated college? What was something you were told that you're like, you know what? I should have, well, you were told, but you didn't listen. I should have listened to, let's say, Jamal. Yeah, I should have listened to Jamal back then. He actually had some good advice for me. I should have listened to Suzanne or Kathy or Sherry. I should have listened to them because they had great advice. But what advice would you give to any college student? And we've got enough people in the workforce on this show. We've got enough people out there who are educators. What would you say to them? What would you say to them? Prepare for the politics, office politics. I'll tell you one of the best pieces of advice I was given, and actually came from Teo. When I left college and I returned to Bermuda and I began working at Inter-Island Communications, Teo said this one thing to me. He said, learn as much as you can and make yourself indispensable and you'll always have a job. He legit said that to me when I first started. Teo said, make yourself indispensable and you will always have yourself a job. And my goal was to learn how to do everything there was at the company. Now, that doesn't mean I was the best at doing everything. That doesn't mean I was on a certain level of production or, on air talent, any of that. But I had an understanding of how to do it. So that was the kind of advice that I was given from my colleague Teo, like, make yourself indispensable and you'll always have a job. I would actually say to young people today, the same thing, like, learn I know some people used to have attitudes back when, well, that's not part of my job description. You can no longer act like that. You can no longer say those things. What you're expected to do now is learn that job. So if you're working in one department, learn how to do what's going on in another department. There's a thing called layoffs and redundancies. When you make yourself indispensable, when you learn a whole lot, it's harder to let you go. That was good advice, too, and it works to this day. What else, audience? What advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today? We've got Angeline Butler. She says, in regards to finances, save at least 5% each pay period, invest early. I love this advice. One of the things I always said, Angeline, is, and people may not like this, when you begin your career, stay at home as long as possible. But don't stay at home just to spend what you earn. Stay at home to invest what you earn. And make sure that investment's in you. Kenton Trott says, I would encourage them to try their best to have a work-life balance. As a young person entering the work world, you will want to make a good impression, but don't get burned out. I wonder who I have that conversation with often about getting burnt out. But it's true. It's real. It's real. Burnout is real. It's serious. You will love what you do if you're doing what you want it to do. I know that sounds like something, but you will love what you do if you're doing. A lot of people go to college, get degrees, and they're not working in the space that they want. When you get to work in that space that you really want to be in, sometimes you go overboard. Don't burn out. Work-life balance. Thank you for that. So those two are great ones. Like finances, manage your finances. For some college graduates, this is going to be your first real job. For most of you, your first real job. When you start making that money, remember, save some, invest some, get some mutual funds beyond that pension. Kenton Trott also says, be flexible and willing to learn, but also don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Yeah. And to that last part, Kenton, another piece of advice no one told me, but I'm glad I learned it later on. Seek mentorship and coaching. Seek mentorship and coaching. I am a believer in having mentors and coaches. I am a believer in having mentors and coaches. They are so important. Let's go over to Instagram, see what people are saying. Again, folks, what advice? Congratulations to the 98 graduates and faculty and staff, Bermuda College. Today, they are having their commencement ceremony. What advice would you give to college graduates about entering the workforce today? Over on Instagram, we've got Ajwana says, stay committed to learning. Absolutely. Absolutely. Learning doesn't end when you get your diploma or certificate. It doesn't end there. Yaisha Towson says, I tell my students constantly that failure is not the worst thing that could happen to you. We spend so much time teaching them to get the right answers rather than understanding. Failure allows growth. Absolutely. Allow yourself to fail. I actually had a job. And I said, look, allow me to fail. Allow me to try things, and if they don't work out, I can fix them. But we're not going to grow unless we try some things. We take some risk. And young people have to be encouraged to take risk. I know they're entering a workforce, and there's rules and some places regulations in certain, areas, but allow them some space to grow. They may bring things that can help catapult the company in spaces that it's been trying to go for years. All good ideas so far, folks. Keep them coming. Again, what advice would you give to college graduates about entering the workforce today? Traveling Trotty says, I would urge them to continue embracing lifelong learning, to remain adaptable to change, and to never lose sight of your dreams. Adaptability. Thank you for that. Folks, when I left undergrad, I say it all the time on this show, to be able to do a show like this, they made you believe you needed hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. That's not so today. Even learning from Maya, like all you need is your phone. Maya and I went to the broadcasting conference last year, and it was a time when we were taught to only record horizontally. Right? And, now you're taught vertically. Simple things like that, being able to adapt and how to deliver your messaging as we evolve, right? What you were taught in college today could be obsolete tomorrow. So we've got to be adaptable. And again, I think what we're going to get during this show, this conversation today, is we must never, ever stop learning. Suzanne Ingham says she was told, welcome to the real world. My advice is stay humble, stay focused, learn everything you possibly can. Rome wasn't built in a day. I promise you'll get there. Steady, focused. Indeed. Indeed. I'm going to be honest. I did not have a lot of patience. I wanted to get places very fast. Many people, one of the things I want to tell any college graduate, and this is just the reality, a degree doesn't guarantee you anything. It doesn't. You've got to have the right attitude. You have to be, willing to learn. You have to be adaptable. I know you don't like to hear this because I don't really like it, but you have to kind of fit into certain cultures. And if you're unable to fit into certain cultures, wait for it. Go create your own space. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Yaisha Townsend says it can be strange, seen as strange advice, but we need to encourage the spirit of rerouting, of challenge, of change, and of learning how to rebuild. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's hitting the nail on the head. Absolutely. It's not one way. We have to be able to step back and say, you know what? Let me try it this way. Let's go in a different direction. I'm loving this conversation. Folks, make sure you give us a thumbs up, love, like. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Give us some more. Give us some more. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, good morning, TDH fam. Please be kind, smile. And as he's telling you, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's fight the algorithm. Nachiko Trot says, life is about more than just reaching the destination. It's about the journey along the way. Also, don't be afraid to ask for feedback and constructive criticism. I want to keep this up for a second. I was talking to a good friend the other day, and we were just talking about life and doing things we love. And I said, I think the reason some people lose motivation and interest is because they're only ever thinking about the final destination. They're only ever thinking about getting to that place they want to be. And honestly, if you're not enjoying the journey to get there, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. You've got to enjoy the journey. Thank you for that, Traveling Trotty. The journey is probably and you know what? Don't kick me for my analogy, but the analogy I'll give you is I did not like math in school. And I just wanted to figure out the answer. But even going back to, I believe, a comment that Yaisha Townsend made earlier, right? Or someone made it. Yes, we spend so much time teaching them to get the right answers rather than understanding. And I think I didn't want to understand division. I just wanted to get the answer right, because that's what they made you believe, that you're getting credit for getting the answer right. But now, so many years later, I understand the process of getting that answer, why it was so important. Angeline Butler says, build your resilience muscle and always remember you will land on your feet. This too shall pass, a daily mantra. Charles H. Jefferson II says, remember the things that management do and don't do and how they make you feel. If you have the opportunity, do the things that make you feel good, valued, and appreciated, and don't do the other stuff. WKD Lama says the most important skill is being able to communicate effectively. And that means the good and the bad. Being able to communicate the good and the bad of your situation. That speaks a lot to the environment that we're in. Keep them coming, folks. What else? Let me just go over check to see what our friends on Instagram. Okay, they don't have much going on over there. But again, the question of the morning: what advice would you give to college graduates about entering the workforce today? We're going to bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break. And don't forget, we've got Major Duncan Simons coming on after the news break. We're going to be talking about the Royal Bermuda Regiment as they're doing some recruiting. Hey, if you can't find a job after college graduation, there may be an opportunity for you. All right, let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break, folks. Stick with us. Do not go anywhere.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good this morning.
Well, that is wonderful. Tell me something. You had your college graduation more recently than me. I'm just saying. No, really, didn't last year, remember when they were talking about at the broadcasting conference how, most people were taught to record in one, way, and then you were like, not me. You said that you were actually taught, if I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, you were taught to record like this rather than this, right?
No, I was told to record horizontally. Like they pushed that down us. Like, this is how you record, only this way, and I was just like, okay. But then actually, and funny enough story, I was the first person in my university to actually bring it to the university, like for their social media page. I was like, you guys should have like students actually going on your stories and talking about their experiences. Literally, I was the first one who like brought that to them, and then they started doing it, and they had me do one day like a day in the life of a student type thing, and they continuously now still do it. But yeah, that was me.
I love it. But see, that's changed. Those are things that didn't exist. And last year, at the broadcast conference, they were saying like we were taught to record horizontally. Now everything's vertically, and those are simple things that we have to adapt. Right? We've got to change how we approach things. But what advice, Maya, would you give to college graduates today?
So a couple of things from everyone speaking. Well, the first one, Jamal, I know how you don't like when people pronounce your name wrong. So it's Aisha. It's Aisha Townsend. Yaisha.
Oh, yes.
You're doing a hard Y, but it's Aisha Townsend. And then constructive criticism. Nishika brought that one up, and I was like, I agree on that so hard, but I want us to focus on constructive a little bit more, because what I'm learning right now in my age, and like younger people coming to me in universities and like asking me questions or want to like hear my feedback and stuff like that. And I'm like, I remember when I was like trying to do this as well, and sometimes people could be so harsh on us that I just want to make sure I tell them all the things that they're doing great, all the things that they're doing great first before I tell them something that they should change. Because I don't want to change their views. I don't want to change their insight. I don't want to change their mindset, and I've gotten that from my mentors a lot over the years, is that they always tell me things great that I'm doing, and also let me lead with my own opinions at the end of it. Like, they're not telling me what to do. They're just, again, giving me advice or like what they would probably do in the situation, but they'll never tell me what to do. And then for myself, I just want people to know, and this is probably one of the great advice I ever gotten, was follow your passions and then the money will come. Follow your passion, the money will come, because you won't continuously do something forever if you don't like it. And life just life be life. And then, like I say before, your ancestors fought tooth and nail, especially for us Black people. So like, do things that make you happy. And then what my uncle always taught me was the 3-3-3 rule. Like, if something bad happens or something good happens, just think about how you'll feel in 3 days. Would it matter anymore? 3 weeks, would you still be thinking about it? 3 months, is it like, you probably it won't even be a second thought for you in 3 months. So try to get in that headspace on that day that you feel like this news, whether it be too heavy or even good. So those have always been my best advice.
I love that. I appreciate that. I think that despite AI, college graduates are in for a treat, because I think they're coming out with skills that we didn't have 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. So most of them went through a pandemic, something we didn't experience when we were in school. So I'm happy for them, and I'm excited, and I look forward to working with some of them in this capacity, Maya. So yeah.
Indeed. All right, well, good morning, everyone. This is your daily hour newsweek brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So let's start by addressing the Bermuda Health Council Act that was passed last Friday in the House, and that's starting off with the statement that was made by Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, Scott Pearman. Now, he said in his statement, quote, recently the government of Bermuda, led by Premier David Barrett, passed a new law that sends healthcare workers and health insurance workers to prison for failing to provide the government with health information. So that was the opening line statement that probably many people read and was just like, what is this about?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it sounds so harsh. It sounds so harsh. And I'm sorry.
Well, now let's give some added context to that statement. So last Friday in the House, as I mentioned, it was voted to pass the Health Council Act Amendment Bill. Now, the bill, read by Minister of Health Tim Wilson, says that it will expand the collection of important health system data to enable stronger and more timely health policy decision making. Now, this and more in alignment with the government's goal to achieve universal health care.
The amendment outlines the types of information required, including data related to healthcare service delivery, utilization, costs, and payments for health products and services. And this information, Mr. Speaker, will support objective decision-making, particularly in the context of implementing universal health coverage.
So, a little bit more to it. The minister stated that by systematically gathering and analyzing relevant data sets, the Ministry of Health aims to identify opportunities for quality improvement, enhance care coordination, and optimize resource allocation to address healthcare needs more effectively. So the data sets would include population health data, healthcare utilization data, clinical quality indicators, and healthcare expenditure data. So like all the spends, everything that they spend on things. She adds that the legislation is not designed to micromanage individual practices or interfere with office finances. Here's a little bit more.
The benefits of having access to comprehensive data for decision making, such as improving healthcare delivery and ensuring equitable access to services, outweighs the initial investment in compliance. Council recognizes the potential impact on healthcare providers and is committed to minimizing any undue burden. Public consultations and feedback will be provided to solicit input on data collection priorities and address any concerns or misconceptions.
So here's where it gets the idea of, the statement from Scott Pearman, because in the House, the minister also says that these amendments would be futile if the council did not have means to enforce them. So here's what she said.
Failure of a health service provider, insurer, or an approved scheme to provide the information or data requested by the council is an offense and could result in a fine of $20,000 or imprisonment or both. The importance of this is that it serves as a strong deterrent and ensures that providers, insurers, and schemes understand the importance of fulfilling their obligation. And again, this is the obligation to produce data, Mr. Speaker.
Seems like a lot of rules and regulations.
Just more to it, right? And then Susan Jackson of the OBA actually put in her words immediately after the minister was done reading the bill, and here's what she had to say.
The data collection that we're speaking about today, for the listening audience, this is not about individual patient information. This is not about clinical data. Your privacy will definitely be maintained. This is not about that. I just need to backtrack just a little, and I'm going to get to the copay because I do believe that the bottom line of this amendment is all about the money, but I'd like to see if I can at least break down what's going on with data collection in the health in Bermuda. This piece of legislation is pretty darn strong arm, almost excessive, and I believe it's because the government is behind the 8 ball, and they need to get this information quickly because things are not as they seem.
Pay attention, Bermuda.
So on one hand, yes, the Minister of Health and the Ministry of Health is trying to access more amounts of data so that they understand what more money needs to be allocated for certain things, or what coverage needs to be covered certain things around the island. And that's like the main jump of it. But putting in, I guess, like they said, having enforcements, trying to get all that information in regularly and in a swift manner. So that's what Jackson was bringing up as well about like just trying to fast speed things along as they're trying to push for, you know, universal health coverage.
I guess the question comes down to the public, and maybe this would be the OBA's angle, but do the public trust this new process? That's what it really comes down to.
Indeed. And just to like close up on, you know, Scott Pearman's statement, like he mentioned that the 10 members of the cabinet who voted for the passing of the act, which he is calling a draconian new PLP law, and those are the names right there that you see. And he said that the One Bermuda Alliance believes that criminal sanctions such as imprisonment exist in order to punish criminal acts. Everyday Bermudian citizens should not be jailed for failing to provide information to the government. And he closed by saying this is one of the latest in a series of new laws passed by the PLP that seeks to imprison people for things that are not remotely criminal. Other recent examples of PLP legislation imprisoning people for non-criminal acts include the Invasive Alien Species Act of 2021, which imposes up to 2 years in jail if you have the wrong kind of tree on your property. And just ending up by saying that, quote, it is wrong to incarcerate Bermudian workers for failing to provide information. And that's what he had to say about that.
Interesting.
Granted, there are other laws within Bermuda law system that are very old as well that probably need to be changed, but these are the two that he brought up through the reign of the PLP government. And just a little backtrack too on just cybersecurity in general, because I know that seems to be obviously still a main topic, and with, you know, collecting data in this way, people might, you know, be worried about that as well. So in relation to cybersecurity, we all know from the last update in March of 2024 that, you know, nothing can be shared yet with the public in such a, you know, way that we want to answer the questions, like how Minister and Senator Darrell responded to OBA Dukudo in the House about, you know, just trying to figure out like what's going on with the data. While in recent updates, and this can be attributed to the Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, because he actually stated that on May 5th, on that day, he tabled the Cybersecurity Act of 2024 and said that the September 23 cyber attack on the Bermuda government was unprecedented and severely tested the government's resilience and ability to maintain its business continuity. The cyber attack highlighted the need for legislation that will be tabled. And closing, saying that this legislation is an example of the Ministry of National Security delivering on its mission to keep Bermuda safe.
I guess.
And that's well, that's it for that story there. Definitely more to look into. And obviously, if you want to learn more about, you know, universal health coverage and things of that nature, I'll be bringing it more as things start to advance. But in other news, and this one's for the parents and guardians, just a reminder, because it's coming up quite quickly, because on Monday, May 20th is a day to register. So we mentioned this in the news break, but just want to highlight it again because it's coming quick, and most people know that you got to be ready to register your children right at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, May 20th, because I've heard stories, I'm sure a lot of people have stories about how quickly things do get up to capacity. However, they did increase the capacity and they increased the duration as well. And there's a lot of different selection of camps to actually go for that are now available. But, you know, check that out sooner rather than later. Know what you're going to sign up for. So on the day and time, you have it all prepared. And again, the camps will remain the same price as last year at $60 per week per child.
I saw the Boys to Men camp, and it just made me wonder, like, are they going to be like practicing to sing in groups? And I'm just like, no, Jamal, it's probably like raising good men. Like, come on, stop thinking entertainment.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. It could be, right? But I don't know. I saw an ad from Boys to Men performing last night. That's what had it in my head.
Indeed. Well, in positive news, they say congratulations to Aaron Critchlow and Bermuda Islam for receiving the year's President's Award from KBB and their board of directors. The award is presented annually to an individual or group that has made significant contributions throughout the year with KBB. And Aaron has been volunteering with them since his days at Elliott Primary School, where he first developed a passion for caring for the environment. We all know Aaron Critchlow is one of the leaders and leaderships and co-founder of Bermuda is Love for several years now. So congratulations to Aaron Critchlow and the whole Bermuda is Love team.
Good stuff. Good work. What else you got? Any weather for us?
Yeah, weather for us today. Unfortunately, it's looking a little cloudy, patchy of rain, become showers that turn heavy at times. And we know we have the commencement today, but please, you know, dark clouds, don't rain on the parade, all that good stuff. And it's a high of 74 degrees, but also rain sometimes is a good thing. So hopefully it's not too bad for the graduates out there and the people who attend.
Yeah, don't rain on the parade. Well, days of the year, I've got days of the year for you, Maya. I just forgot that I had to find it. All right, so Maya, you're gonna like this.
Oh.
Yeah, guess what it is? It's drawing day, like drawing day. Yeah, drawing day is to remind us of the time when we are too tied up in the amazing and beautiful things that came out of our imagination and onto the page to be self-conscious about them. Yeah. So how to celebrate drawing day? Well, got a piece of paper, got a pencil or some crayons, and draw real quickly. I want to show you guys something real quickly because Maya taught me how to do this thing. And don't forget, we've got Major Duncan Simons coming up. I want to show you what I came across yesterday, folks. And well, I'm going to show it to you. I'll show it to you real quickly.
Ay, la señora.
I'm not going to share the entire thing, right? The point is, and I learned this in St. John's Ambulance many years ago, right? About playing hero. The first good thing about that is people told her what not to do. She continued. Folks, I don't care what's in that bag. Passport, important documents. You can get more of those documents. Guess what you can't get more of? Your life. Lady in St. John's Ambulance told me many years ago, if you see someone in danger, you don't risk your life to save them. You do things that could save both of you. So people saw that. I actually thought it was smart for them not to go and get involved.
Mhm.
But later on in the video, they did, like, I guess water scares bulls. So you saw some people with buckets or whatnot. We've got to be smarter. And so many of us travel. Folks, when you travel, be smart. There was no reason for that lady to engage that bull. All right. Maya, I don't know if you have anything to add about the bull.
I'm just trying to figure out what did I teach you.
Oh, how to grab that video and do the stuff. Yeah. You taught it to me 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what's trending right now, folks. Let us know what your thoughts are about the bull. Maya, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for not remembering what you teach me. All right, my philosophy. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. 2 minutes, 24 seconds. We'll be back with Major Duncan Simons.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
It took 14 days to build your business plan. 6 months to build the courage to leave your day job. 3 weeks to find the perfect location. It took 10 days to outfit your space just right. And 1 day before your first client walked in the door. All totaled, it took you a full year to get your business operational. And this is just the beginning. To the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the people that shape our economic community, we salute you and are here for you every step of the way. BEDC, providing knowledgeable, progressive, professional, and innovative support to Bermuda businesses.
Noah's Ark, the largest and most trusted pet supply store for almost 30 years. Not only have you watched us grow, but we've grown together, keeping the needs of your pets first, offering advice and giving back to the community. Shop online, choose delivery, or visit us in Devonshire. And with the Egg Show in view, we will continue our yearly support and help you find everything you need for one of Bermuda's most favorite community events. See you soon.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all of the great things that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Major Duncan Simons, one from the Royal Bermuda Regiment. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome. Morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, Jamel, for having the regiment on this morning, and I'm really pleased to be here.
No problem. We've got a lot to ask you before we even get into the conversation. We've got to ask you first about the bull situation. You're a soldier, so what should that lady have done in that situation?
Yeah, don't mess with bulls. I think if you don't know that, there's something wrong with you.
All right, and obviously, coming from the regiment, what advice would you give to college graduates entering the workforce today?
Yeah, so I can talk to my regiment experience. Since that's the topic, I graduated. I attended Bermuda College when I first started at the regiment, and for me, it was another area where you could achieve success in your life. And not just your primary sort of employment or role or as a student. It is really the best second job in Bermuda in that you can get lifelong career development and progression every step of the way. I've been in the regiment since 1998. And, from the very beginning, as a college student, at 19 years old, I was able to do the Junior Non-Commissioned Officers Carter, get that leadership training experience, command a section briefly, and then was off to Sandhurst for a commissioning course when I was 20. So I was, coming out of college, if you have the time, and that is the time when you do have the most time, if you choose to serve, there are tremendous opportunities here to develop your competencies in dealing with people and taking charge and picking up specialist skills or what have you. I think what we offer is really incomparable. It is the only place in Bermuda where you can be immersed in the military experience and culture and training and people who are here benefit from that.
Indeed. And thank you for that. And just going, because man, you went to Sandhurst at 20. 1998. That's when I graduated high school. I'm going to age you a bit. So speak to more about you graduated college, you went to Bermuda College, but the different roles you've had within the regiment during your career.
Yeah. So I went to I graduated from high school in 1996. Went off to boarding school, got quite ill, came back to Bermuda, went to the college, and was conscripted. So I didn't really have a choice. But I had a section commander during my recruit camp, Bobby Hurdle, and when I was on the junior NCO Carter, Martin Williams, Wayne Keynes, a big cohort of officers who would commission the year before me, and it was very easy for me to just follow in their footsteps, so to speak. So that's how I ended up commissioning. My dad was in the regiment in 1966, the first intake, and as someone who has been a leader in Bermuda society, at that time, he never even considered commissioning, becoming an officer, because that was a role that white, males fulfilled. So I went that route, and then I left in 2001. Went to school in Brooklyn, New York, studied architecture, came back to Bermuda in 2007, worked in architecture for 10 years, registered as an architect. And during all of that time as well, I continued my military career while I was in Bermuda. So I did the platoon tactics course at Brecon, was able to do the primary reserve army operations course in Canada, in Kingston, Ontario, I was platoon commander. I ran the junior non-commissioned officers cadre for a couple of years in our leadership course. And then I also, was company 2IC twice, company commander. And then I stepped back because I had to sit my professional registration exams. I had my first child, my daughter, was born in 2012. So I focused on that. But at the same time, I was special projects officer. And that meant that I fulfilled various roles throughout the regiment, but less of a week in, week out commitment. One of those roles was representing Bermuda at this regional body, the Caribbean Region Information Operations Council. That involved traveling and sort of having some high-level discussions around sort of what these various organizations in the region, these military organizations, are trying to achieve and how they can use information to achieve their aims. And then, 2016, I was invited by the commanding officer to be the adjutant. So the adjutant is the commanding officer, staff officer responsible for administration and discipline, as well as policy. So you're right at the center of running the regiment and carrying out initiatives to modernize and make us better. And then from there, I became the regiment's career management officer. Well, I did 2 stints as adjutant, so I ended up doing 5 years. Then I was career management officer for a couple of years, just under 2 years. And then officer commanding B company, which is what I'm doing now. Through the whole period, I've also been the public relations officer. So just running our media and communications and all of that.
And I think it's important for people to understand, the different roles that individuals have within the organization. We were just speaking about young college grads and some people, how they want to, make that money right out of college or, think their academia is going to get them right to the top. But speaking of the different roles you had, gave you a better understanding of, the organization itself and where you probably fit best, right? But speaking of, as we switched conversation a bit, some people think that the regiment's role was just for natural disasters. Some people think it's just parades. Not when I was did my 6-month tenure, we didn't have the Coast Guard. Just explain the role of the 2024 Royal Bermuda Regiment.
Yeah, so we're here to protect Bermuda's interests. And as a small isolated island, we essentially provide resilience to the government of Bermuda, the island of Bermuda, be that supporting other agencies, responding to hurricanes. We maintain a robust public order capability if the need arose. And then, of course, the Coast Guard is one of the biggest changes. So we provide a 24/7 search and rescue capability. We always have people on call, which is a big change from before when the police were running it. Just the ability to man it, through the day is a big deal. The police, their focus is primarily policing, and when you have police officers tied up doing search and rescue, that they are constrained for resources as well. So it's really about finding a healthy balance, and for us, we have the capability, the skill sets, the access to training to get to a pretty high standard when it comes to search, boat handling, search and rescue. In addition to that, we also do sort of the environmental protection side, so oil spill response, fishery support, support to customs, amongst other things. Fundamentally, we are a force multiplier for other agencies, in addition to doing our primary roles.
Alrighty. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Major Simons, please send them through. We'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. We've had the Bermuda Police Service on, obviously fire services had some challenges as well with recruitment. Both services have or are considering going overseas. I don't know about you, but recruiting overseas soldiers doesn't seem...
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
So we have no intent to recruit from overseas. The regiment is currently 300 strong. We are about 15 to 20% expatriate. So if you are here on a work permit, you can join. Anyone who is in Bermuda is welcome to join. We're about 20% female. So those, that female cohort and that expatriate cohort post-conscription have certainly boosted our numbers. We take in about 40 people a year, 35 to 40 people a year. Ideally, we need to take in about 60 people a year. Because demographically, there are fewer young people. As an organization, we are aging. So, we really are going to be doubling down on youth engagement over the coming 2 or 3 years, so that we get a more diverse cohort coming through. So we don't have the throughput that we had during conscription. So that diversity is lacking in that sense. So we have to actively seek out the people that we need to join. And we do that in a few ways. So, we go out, obviously we advertise a bit, we do a bit on social media, we do pop-ups all over the place. So Harbor Nights, we visit schools, we do career fairs. The band is actively engaged in basically every music program on the island, engaging with young people. We have Captain Gavin Rayner, the Commandant of the Junior Leaders, running that program every Friday. So if you're a young person and you want to, or if you're a parent of a young person who's middle school aged and older, they can join that program and get a head start on the military career. So yeah, we're doing a lot. Where we can improve is better integrating with schools. So we used to run a cadet program in the schools that hasn't been running for several years. So the intent is to develop a plan to roll out that program again, perhaps integrating sort of Bermuda's military history into school curriculum, so people are aware, because we're losing those connections with family members. When you had conscription, everyone understood, but now that is less the case. So building those connections younger and supporting and engaging with youth organizations in schools is really the way forward, so that when someone's 18, they've already understand the culture of service. Not necessarily service to the regiment, but the idea of public service is not foreign. And I think we as an organization can really help cultivate that.
Well, with all you said, what you kind of answered what you're doing to address the challenges, but what are the exact challenges that you're having with, there are people who are looking for work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One would say, well, hey, we're looking for a few good men and women, right? So what are what are some of the things that you think are people saying why they don't want to volunteer?
So I think a lot of people are looking for full-time employment, and we don't offer full-time employment for most people. We are 36 full-time staff. Everyone else is part-time. And, as a second job, as a part-time job, it's incomparable. It is the best part-time job in Bermuda. As a private soldier starting out, you'll earn about $5,000 a year. If you have lots of time, there's lots of opportunity to earn even more. As an officer, as you get more senior, you earn considerably more. So, that is the first barrier. There's this expectation that we offer full-time employment, and unfortunately, we can't, because Bermuda is small and budgets are a real thing. And then what would they do? Because the requirement that is placed on the regiment does not necessarily require a full-time regiment of 300 people. The other challenge is the quality, the low numbers of people generally, and the quality of people who apply. And we encourage everyone to apply. Just try, just show up. Go through the process to find out what it's about and where you stand. But we do have a minimum fitness standard. It's not a high standard, but it's a standard that's high enough whereby you're not going to injure yourself going through recruit training. That's our first concern. We have a duty of care to make sure that we're not putting people through something that's going to cause them a lifelong injury, and that has happened in the past. And then the other challenge is just basic aptitude. So filling out forms and the basic skills that all the other services will face. Like we don't have as high a bar for part-time staff as we would for full-time staff, and that the other agencies have. So if you're going to join the Coast Guard, you're going to be drug tested and go through the whole psychological vetting thing.
Okay.
We don't do that for part-time staff, but it's just being able to go through an interview, Everyone is interviewed. If you score poorly on the interview, that's a red flag. If you can't pass the fitness test, we'll work with you, and we'll get you up here. We'll give you a training program. We do every Thursday night fitness club, so we will help you along. But it's really about the drive to get in, and if you want it, our doors are open, and there are not many barriers in the way.
All right. Audience, I'll get to your comments and questions, but you can continue to send them. I'll get to them in a minute. All you said, and I feel like the answers, there's not one, but what is just describe the ideal recruit that the Royal Bermuda Regiment is looking for.
The ideal recruit, I don't think there's not necessarily a model recruit. We need diversity. So we need people at every level, straight out of high school, even if you didn't finish high school, it doesn't matter. As long as you're willing to work, everything we do is about creating effective teams at fire team level, at section level, platoon level, and putting them under a lot of stress and getting them to do a shared task, right? That is essentially the military sort of approach. And we're not police officers. We're not like an office to ourselves. We don't stand alone. We're always acting as a team. So no matter what your education background or experience background, we will take you as long as you can meet the minimum standards. And in terms of a requirement for diversity, yes, we need. You're talking about people who are leaving college. If you're leaving college, the opportunity you've already demonstrated a level of academic aptitude. Well, consider commissioning as an officer, for example. If you're fit and you've gone to college, that route is open to you. If that's not you, there are many other pathways through the regiment. Most people are enlisted, and the career, like the junior non-commissioned officer cadre, going to Brecon, doing the various professional qualifications. The NCOs are the subject matter experts. They get lots of specialist training, be it as medics or signalers or public order instructors or weapons instructors or range management qualifications. All that training is on the table and is offered to anyone. We put out a press release this week about our participation in trade winds. We have 2 lance corporals, so soldiers in their second or third year or third or fourth year who are learning how to find and deal with improvised explosive devices. We, in conjunction with the police, maintain a EOD capability, and the opportunities are plentiful. So there's no ideal recruit. We really just need diversity. We don't need just one type. We need diversity.
Indeed. Go to the comments real quickly. Not sure if I understand it. Kia BDA asks, what are Bermuda's laws around regiment members being called to serve in Bermuda or overseas? Is it mandatory, or if you join the regiment, can you just go to develop life skills?
So I guess no, you're not required to serve overseas. The Defense Act is explicit in that regard. You're only required to serve in Bermuda, except for an annual camp. So if the regiment's annual camp is overseas, you are required to travel for that. That means you need a passport, for example. In terms of life skills, there's lots on the table, from professional military education, skills development, it's all there. So you won't be forced to go overseas. We have gone overseas last time in 2017 after Hurricane Irma and Maria. We went to Grand Turk and the Turks and Caicos Islands to help with their post-hurricane recovery as part of UK Operation Operaruman, and those were all volunteers. So we sent a platoon down, so 30 people. We had about 60 people to draw from, and we selected the people who were free to go when the call came. So you're not forced to go overseas.
All right. My Palacio says, I was in the string band once. CBA was involved with Tiffany Fox. She also said she did the cadet program for like 4 weeks. I know you mentioned the cadet program, getting it back in schools. I always said, to me, that was the answer to conscription, actually getting young people to kind of graduate right through to it. How far off are we from that?
So we will likely be trialing that in a school this September. I'm not quite sure what the plans are for that. And then next year, there'll be more formal engagement more broadly. For us, it's really about getting our ducks in a row first. But yeah, that is the intent. In terms of Maya's comment, we did have Tiffany Fox here last Monday she's now at Summersfield Academy. So we had the Summersfield Academy band here. Sheldon Fox, who's our director, our band officer, he led on that. And yeah, we had 25 or so kids here. We've done other engagements across the island, and that is the future. It is really about engaging with people while they're young, so that they understand what the regiment is. Because we're not patrolling the streets day in, day out. Like police officers, you don't see fire, we're not driving fire trucks going up and down the road. So, to be known and understood, we really have to engage young.
Indeed. And before you head out, I asked the police this because I remember, when I was young, I had an idea that I would make a great police officer. Don't ask me why, but they had height requirements, and I took longer to grow than others. What other height requirements, weight requirements? What are the physical requirements?
Yeah, no, we don't. In terms of physical requirements, as long as you can pass the fitness test, which is a multi-stage fitness test, push-ups, sit-ups. If you can do push-ups and sit-ups, multi-stage fitness test, you'll get in. We have a soldier in my company, and she's got to be like 100 pounds. Like she's tiny, but she will beat a combat fitness test, and that's carrying 35 pounds, whole lot of lifting and dragging. It's hard for me. Like I'm fitter than most, but she can do it, and if she can do it, I think anyone can do it. So. We don't treat women any differently. Generally the fitness standards are slightly different, but they're still required to do pretty much what everyone else does. So, yeah.
Okay. And what about age? Like, what's the age you're looking for recruits?
So anyone between essentially 18 and 52. And I say 52 because the initial commitment is 3 years and 2 months. And, we have mandatory retirement like the other services at 55. Maybe that's something that needs to be revisited. That's not at my level, but for all the services, if there's a lack of people, perhaps we extend that. But yeah, we still have several soldiers over 55. It's just there's a process to extend them. They're not automatically allowed to continue serving. So yeah, okay, 18 to 52.
All right, perfect. And how can those who are interested in learning more or maybe registering as soldiers, where can they go to register or learn more?
Yeah, so if you go to rbr.bm or bermudaregiment.bm, there's a join us link on that page. There's a simple form. Just fill out that form, and we'll make contact with you. If not, just give us a call, 238-1045, and you'll speak to someone about recruiting. They will have you up here, or just drop by. We're here, 8:30 to 5, Monday to Friday, plus a whole lot of weekends and drill nights. But we're regularly here, 8:30 to 5, and during that window, anyone will speak to you. We'll walk you through the process. We'll invite you to come back for a training weekend so you can see what the experience is like. And I generally also just encourage people to speak to people who are in the regiment. Like they're the people. If you have a friend or if you know someone who's in the regiment, speak to them about their experience. And they're really the best people to sell what we do. I have a perspective. I'm pretty senior. I'm older. But if you speak to someone who's just joined up, who's 19, 20, they will have a very specific experience that maybe I had 20 years ago, but it's fresh in their minds.
Indeed. Major Simons, thank you so much for the conversation this morning. Please note that you've got anything up. I know we've had, is it Major Fox, Sheldon Fox?
Sheldon Fox.
Yeah, we've had him on the show before, and someone else from the band, Robinson. So
maybe Dwight Robinson. Yeah, Major Dwight Robinson, Lieutenant Sheldon Fox.
On the show previously. So, don't be a stranger if there's anything that we can share and make sure that our audience knows and understands the important role that you play, please just reach out and we'll be happy to engage your messages with our audience.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Take care.
All right, Major Duncan Simons, folks, if you appreciated today's conversation, please give a thumbs up, a love, a like. As Lorenzo Rhettary says right here, service in the regiment is Bermuda specific. Joining for life skills is a very good reason to join. Received, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. Again, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Do us a favor. Please share that conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We don't want to keep this information to ourselves. This is important. There are a lot of people. I like what Major Simon said. If nothing else, this one thing is the best second job in Bermuda. I love that. And there are a lot of people who are looking for other opportunities. This is an opportunity where your community can also benefit from the work that you're doing. So take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Give us that like, that love, share it, and we'll come back to see who's going to win the opportunity to be eligible for this week's prize. Give us 60 seconds.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions exasperated by market volatility, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal and cost-effective risk management cover. Therefore, we deliver a full suite of competitive insurance products to protect your business. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our broking services.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Major Duncan Simons for stopping by. If you haven't already, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We need more soldiers like we need police officers and fire people. So let's make it happen. We are the best people to give our community what we know our community deserves and needs. All right. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we would do this with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, you tell me, A through F, which question do you want me to ask? A through F, A through F, your choice, A through F. And I will ask one of the questions, A through F. What question should I ask? It's a name that place today. Name that place. A through F. First person who gives me a letter. Okay, D. D says Karen Simmons. We're going to ask question D, says Karen Simmons. All right, here we go. D. I don't know the answer to this. So I'm going to look at the answer after. Which U.S. state is the only one to border just one other state? I'm going to look at a map real quickly. I don't know the answer to this. Wow. Somebody got it. NTS got it first. Maine. I did not know the answer to that, folks. I did not know the answer to that. But it is Maine. Maine is the only U.S. state to border only one other state. And what is that state? Is it New Hampshire or Vermont? What is it? It is New Hampshire. Yeah, New Hampshire. I did not know that, folks. That is interesting facts we learned. No, it's not Texas, Marcus Arthur Phillips. Stacey Ann Brown also said Maine. So we're going to enter NTS. NTS is going to join Stacey Ann Brown and Rosalind Famous and Diana Gilbert into this week's draw, which takes place tomorrow. So congratulations. Give a big round of applause to NTS. And let's just wrap it up. We started off with the discussion for college graduates, advice we would give them. And all of you gave such great, responses and information to help them. All I would say is, again, I always credit Teo for giving me great advice about making yourself indispensable. Learn as much as you can. And as people have been saying, never stop learning. Allow yourself to fail. Keep growing. College degree doesn't guarantee you anything, but it definitely gives you a foundation to build off of. Use it to give yourself lifelong opportunities of what you deem success. Here's your daily inspiration. Quote, "He who angers you conquers you," end quote. "He who angers you conquers you," end quote. That's Elizabeth Kenny. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Again, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, colleagues. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a great and a safe day. I am out. Peace.